So, you want to play Varka. Not just any Varka though. You want to play all the Varkas. I'm talking about Mono Electro, Mono Cryo, Virgin, all that good stuff. Look no further, because I'm here to tell you. I sat here and I spent way too much time that I needed to in the Abyss, playing almost every single Varka team that I could think of or come up with. So you can come out of this video with a lot more versatility to your Varka. My name's Weirdo. I like Mona. Let's get on with the video. First, we gotta start off with the basics and the most obvious one of all of them. This is your typical team that you're pretty much mostly gonna be using like all the time. And the team that does the most damage, so don't go expecting that any of the other ones will do as great as this one. I will say most of these teams, like the teams where he usually performs at his peak, usually are high cost, meaning that they do require a lot of 5 stars. So high percentage of the time, your Varka's not really going to be doing much without these.
Okay. New life.
Next, we have Overload Varka. You're looking at Varka, Fishhole, Bennett, and Duran. I would even more say you can even replace Bennett with someone like Shevers. The results of this team ended up pretty freaking good. It wasn't that bad. It actually performed decently well. If you don't have Duran, you can replace Duran with Shevers, and I'm pretty sure that should perform just as well.
The story has only just begun. What?
Yahoo!
Next, you got Varka Melt. This one actually did pretty good. I was actually pretty surprised by the results, but at the same time not really, because Duran and Varka together are pretty broken. So any team that usually revolves those two usually will perform well. In terms of your 4-star options and a more free-to-play friendly one, there's not that many alternatives. But if we're looking at it from a normal perspective, team-wise, you're looking at something like Varka, Seedlali, Venti, and Duran. If you don't have Seedlali, you can use Layla. And if you don't have Duran, you could use Bennett. And if you don't have Venti, and you don't have any of those, you're gonna need at least one of these, bro. He mostly wants at least a few 5 stars on his team. There's not that many 4-star teams that he can do. I think this one will get better over time. Maybe we'll get some more supports that will help him out with a lot more versatility.
Hey! New life.
Air fryer, this one was very surprising. I was actually pretty amazed by the results on this one. This one was actually pretty goddamn fun. I would definitely recommend trying this one, seeing if you like it. But, you know, be careful because it is air fryer, so it will kill you if you're not careful. Or if you don't have Emily. For the most optimal team that I gotten so far, we're looking at Varka, Bennett, Emily, Duran. You can easily replace Emily with any other Dendro unit. Because Varka heavily relies on Exorite to get his passive for the reduced cooldown of his skills, it's kind of hard to recommend Shangling in this team. Could run it without Exorite, and you can just do like Varka place Dendro character here, Bennett Shangling, but Varka does not feel good without running this goddamn buff. He feels very annoying. But yeah, totally give this one a try. This one was pretty fun.
Only just begun. What?
Alright, next we got Vape. This one was a little tricky, I'm gonna be honest. Because like I said before, most of Varka's pyro related reaction teams usually do want Duran. This does lead to some problems, like this thing called unable to vape. Because you have so much pyro going on, it's not easy to get those vapes off. So high percent of the times you end up playing reverse vape, having Varka and Duran being just the main drivers of pyro, and then having your off-field Hydro sub DPS doing the vapes. For this team, I ended up trying Varka, Farina, Zilonen, and Duran. You could replace Zilonen for another Hydro character. Maybe you can get a lot more vapes off than I did. But I only ran Zilonen strictly for the heals. On Farina's case, you could easily replace Farina too. You could do Yelan Xingqiu. Probably will get better vapes off there too. if you have Durin as well. So definitely do try that one. Maybe you'll get a lot more vapes off. Let me know if you actually do.
Game's up. Fun's over. Fresh and floral.
Virgin. This one is a little strange. Like, I want this one to be good, but it doesn't have the elements to be good. Sure, you can just run Varka and Durin for this team as well, but it kind of defeats the purpose of what Virgin is kind of representing, which is supposed to be high dendro damage. So either your Varka or your Durin is just gonna have to run a crap ton of EM. This one is a little strange. Without Durin, there's not much else you can run. In terms of Hydro characters, there's not that many either. But you want someone that does good damage, and at the same time you want healing as well. You want to say you want to run like Farina, that requires a healer, or you're just gonna have to have a super cracked out Toma that has so much HP that you have no EM. I ended up using Varka, Emily, Elan, and Durin. This is obviously a bad team combo. It can use the Virgin, does do damage to you, so it's not really a good option. Which is why most of the time you want someone like Toma, or you want a healer. So I would recommend taking off Elan for a good healer. That's also Hydro, but the problem is it doesn't exist. There's Barbara, but Barbara's not, she didn't apply enough Hydro application. There's Farina, but let's be honest, no one's a god that's gonna be sitting there swapping stances on Farina all the time. So your only option is to rely on Toma's shield. So you would look at something like Varka and Mona, because she's the only Hexaray Hydro character that's on the list. And you could run a Dendro healer too. You could do like Baiju, Yao Yao, and that might make up for it. But your heavy hitters are you're definitely looking at someone like Emily or Lama or Nihida, because they just have way much more uptime on Dendro reaction.
Time to shine. Yahoo!
And now we are moving on to the Hydro section. And what other to start off with? Mono Hydro. This one surprised me. This is actually my favorite Hydro team. Actually, that's a lie. I'm a liar. I will say though, this one actually was pretty interesting. It is one of my favorites, but not the one that I like the most. I have too many ones I like, but I swear that there's a one I like more than all the others. This one does require Gene. Preferably if you actually manage to get your Gene, was it C4? Yeah, mostly if you want to get your hands on C4 Gene. The 40% decrease Animo res is actually pretty useful. But it works just fine without it, you don't have to worry about it. This team usually revolves around Varka, Farina, Venti, and Jean. I don't know how I literally have no clue on how you wouldn't have Farina, but let's say magically you're like the what? 1, 2, 3% of Genshin players that don't have her. If I'm correct, there's a huge percent of players that have her. It's almost every person in the game has Farina. Anyway, enough of me glazing Farina. If you don't have her, you can easily run Yelan, Shengqiu, you know, your typical choices. But Jean and Farina are usually staples.
Time for takeoff. Let's play.
Next, we got Lunar Electro Charge. This is probably his second best team in the game. Actually, not even saying probably. This is his second best team in the game. Mostly a wheelchair team. Sorry, anything that involves a Columbina or a Nefa. Those two powerhouses alone can carry pretty much any guess in the freaking game. Any character that you run with these two, they don't care. They'll do the heavy lifting themselves. But it's still cool to at least play Varka on this team. You got Varka, Nefa, Columbina, and Venti. You can replace Venti with Sucrose. This is actually better to replace Venti here with Sucrose. Because you know why? Because it helps a Nefa. This team easily clears the Abyss on both halves as well. If you don't have a Nefa, just use Fischl. They're roughly around the same level of strength. It's just a Nefa is just better at doing Electrocharge than Fischl. And if you don't have Columbina, get Columbina. That's all I gotta tell you on that one.
A bitter pill to swallow. Taking a turn for the...
The Temple of Wisdom.
Now, Lunar Bloom. This one's pretty yikes. This one's pretty yikers. Maybe I'm putting it off a little bit more as I would... It is cool, but it's just not fun if you don't have the right supports. This one's very heavy on a llama. You need llama. End of discussion. You don't even try playing this game without... I was gonna say the game. Don't even try playing this team without llama in it. Otherwise, it just feels extremely lackluster, and it just feels like a complete waste of your time. You're not clearing jack squat with this team. I'm gonna say this now. Unless you have llama, you could give it a try with llama. But if you don't have her, don't even try it. But if you want to be like me and try it anyway, you're looking at Varka. I ended up using Baiju, Columbina, and Nahida. Then I'll have some gameplay of us playing those other teams that I couldn't test properly, because she doesn't have the right supports.
Busted. Game's up. Fun's over.
Midnight Pit.
Now you're looking at standard electro charge. This one's just as good as lunar charge. You don't have to worry too much. Lunar charge always is a better reaction, but standard electro charge is just as good. So I expected nothing less from the same. This one was pretty fun. I enjoyed this one. It did feel like Varka was at least doing a bit more heavy lifting, but I honestly would prefer him doing that, even though he probably wasn't. It was most likely Fischl doing all the damage. But hey, at least he has a little bit more contribute into the damage there. For this team, you're looking at Varka and Fischl. These are going to be the main two, and then for your last two slots, you can do whatever the heck you want. I ended up doing Elan and Farina because I'm stupid. You can easily place Farina with Xingqiu, so you can do a Elan Xingqiu combo. Or you can just run Farina and then get yourself a good amino healer like Seiyu or Jean. But if you want to be a maniac, you can run this team and probably die a few times in your Abyss runs. Oof.
Let's play. Time for takeoff.
Quietly now.
Next we got Freeze. Oh boy, let me tell you, this one is absolutely goated. I enjoyed this one quite a lot. It is the most satisfying out of all of them, minus one, because one of them is the most satisfying to me personally, but I feel like this one will be a lot more satisfying to other people, because not only are you freezing, but you're also shattering at the same time. Absolute wombo combo of awesomeness. For this one, I ended up using Varka, Elan, Layla, and Venti. You could easily replace Layla for like an Escoffier or for a Shinha. Most preferably, you'd probably have better luck if you ran Escoffier.
Up the ante!
Now I want to talk about Spread. Spread also, it performed just as well as Quicken. Actually, it performed better than Quicken. Like way better. I mean, well, Aggravate, Quicken, whatever one whichever each is each. There's not much for me to say about this one other than the fact that it was good. However, there's just a bunch of other ones that I enjoyed a lot more, and this one is a good choice if you actually are interested in it. You're looking at Varka, Nahida. I ended up using Fischl. Could use someone else instead of Fischl because, you know, Fischl's not all that great on red teams. I ended up using Varka, Nahida, Fischl, and Mona. You can easily replace Mona with someone else, like anyone. I just used Mona because I thought it'd be a lot more fun, and she works a little bit better with Fischl. But you can use someone like Yalan, you can use Xingqiu, the typical ports. You can use Farina, but you would have to replace Nahida with like either a Baiju or Yao Yao. Fischl is not all that good on spread, so if you don't want to use Fischl, you can use Raiden.
Let's play. Time for takeoff.
I swear by my sword.
Mono Electro. Most of the mono teams usually do involve Jean, except the Pyro one, but even in some cases the Pyro one, you can still use Jean or Kazuha. Doesn't really matter, one of them. It's just Jean's our only healer besides Seiyu, and no one's going to use Seiyu. I'm just going to be honest here. That is also Amino at the same time. Electro can easily lose priority into almost any reaction that Varka can absorb. I think it's the weakest out of all of them. Actually, no, it's actually Cryo. It is the second weakest. So, Jean is clearly your best option. This one did not feel as good as the other two. I'm just gonna throw that out the window. And I would like to see this one get a little bit more potential later on in time. For this one, I use Venti, Varka, Fischl, and Jean. You can replace Venti with Jean or Seiyu, and you can run another Electro support. You can run Kujo, you can run Raiden, you can run Shinobu, you can run Kazuha. This one was pretty alright for me. This is definitely another one I want to keep my eye on.
Here we go. Midnight Fantastic.
Oh boy, I want to get into this one. Superconduct. This one was pretty freaking lit. I am not gonna lie. I just enjoy Superconduct as a reaction. It is my favorite reaction in the entire game. So just seeing him do Superconducts, it just made me very happy. I want this one to be good, but the problem is it's not good. I'm just gonna throw this out the window right now. I'm gonna tell you as it is, it's not good, it's garbage. The reason for it is very obvious. We just do not have a Superconduct support as of the moment. Hopefully we get one. Just saying, you know, maybe someone will come and sleep along and I'll totally triple crown them and get their weapon, and then there'll be a Superconduct support. I ended up using Varka and Fischl and Layla and Venti. You can replace Layla with anyone you'd like, but there's not that many options. You could do Ganyu, or you can use Escoffier just solely to get the reaction going and a bit of extra damage. But Escoffier is not really all that good for this type of stuff. This is like my number one. Easily, even though it's absolute hot dog water. God damn. Now we are moving on to Aggravate. This one surprisingly performed pretty decently. It surprised me quite a lot. I definitely want to see more people run this one in the future. Varka and Fischl and Nahida and Venti. You replace Venti with Sucrose, and if you would like to run a healer, just say screw Nahida. Don't do that. Like, just get rid of her, you know, off your team, not the other one, and run someone like Yao Yao or Baiju. Yeah, this one was a little surprising me. Not that bad.
Burst forth, moments of birth.
Ah, yes, you thought the Geo section wouldn't exist, now would you? It's too bad to tell you, it totally does, and let me tell you, it's freaking awesome. This one caught me off guard on how well it actually did, because Albedo existed. Heck, I feel like they'd even know this was gonna be a team that existed. Varka is the on-field Hydro driver, so he's constantly applying Hydro and applying the Lunar Crystallize. And no, this team does not work on Mono Geo. So, just get that out your head now. For my team, I ran Varka, Chori, Columbina, and Albedo. You could easily replace Chori with Zhongli, not have, such as a Chori. However, I feel like this team heavily requires you to have Albedo. So, yes, get yourself an Albedo if you really want to play this team. I really recommend it, because otherwise it just turns into a freaking mess. You could run Mona. Mona is not a bad option. This is like a good secondary option, so I do highly recommend Albedo though, but Mona is an easy second choice. Instead, you will only have one Geo character, which will lower the amount of crystallized reactions you're gonna get. Does affect your damage, since Columbina is required on this team. However, for the best team on this one, I already know for a fact, once Lene comes out, Jory will be easily replaced with her, and this team will be absolutely goated. I'm calling it now. Dude, I totally want to see some people running into the goddamn abyss. Yeah, definitely highly recommend someone try these out. This one's really fun.
Get away. Don't be scared.
Last but not least, we have Cryo. This one is a very sad trombone. It only has one team. You can't run any other ones. Cryo, unfortunately, is the weakest of the priorities, so it gets overruled by pretty much everything. So all you can run is Mono Cryo. This one is actually pretty good though if you have the right supports. This account does not, so I was unable to get the full potential. I did end up using Layla, Kazuha, Venti, and Varka, but I believe this team shines a lot more if you decide to use, instead of Layla, use Scapier. Instead of Kazuha, you can use Shinha. I think this team will be a lot better if you decide to use those two, but this is just my theory. Actually, not even a theory. I feel like this is probably going to be the go-to on this team. I definitely will be testing it out. Again, if I can get the recording, I'll show you. Unfortunately, it only has the one, so it sucks. Cryo is just like, I guess, bottom of the barrel. Unfortunate. Well, we might get some better cryo supports in the future that can help like mono related stuff, but we'll have to see. Yes, but that is it for the video. Let me know what teams you totally want to try, or any other teams I've missed, or maybe some team ideas you thought of that I haven't thought of. This video did take me a while to make, but I had extremely a lot of fun, and I also was getting pretty mixed up with all the reaction. What are you looking at, Yoda? Yeah, but thanks everyone for stopping by. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Make sure to stay safe, and don't go doing dumb things. Yes.